We're talking about things that may be holding you back at work, and this one is awkward. It's body language and some of the personal habits that we bring to work. Let me start by giving credit to Vanessa Van Edwards. She is a master on body language. And so, if you want to learn more about this, by all means, look up any of her videos or coursework. I've learned a lot about some of the subtle behaviors and motions, things that we do physically, and the signals that it gives off to others. What I want you to think about is, what do you do physically when you're experiencing different emotions? What does confidence look like? Just pause and think about it for a moment. I'm going to put some images on the screen as we talk about some of the emotions, but there tend to be certain common traits or habits that we put into place. When we're confident, our shoulders are back. We tend to use our hands and arms more. We smile more. Well, what about when you're embarrassed? When people are embarrassed, they tend to soothe, they cover their eyes, sometimes their face. Even dogs do this. If a dog is feeling shame, it will put its paw over its face. There are specific things we tend to see when somebody is nervous or anxious. They pull in, they put their arms in front of them, they bite their fingers or they nibble at their fingers, they pull at their hair, put their hands in their head, they tap or click a pin. Those are some of the behaviors that we tend to see about nervousness and anxiety. What about sadness? When people are sad, they often will put their head down, they'll sometimes cover their face. People with longer hair will pull their hair in front of their face and hide behind it a little bit. The point of this is you can start by noticing and being aware of physical attributes that actually communicate certain messages. So you may not be anxious, but if you're in a meeting and you're sitting and constantly clicking your pen, it may give the impression that you're anxious. Likewise, confidence can be communicated by putting your shoulders back, standing tall, taking up more room. So look up power poses. You'll see images of it. They're almost like those superhero poses. And there's research and evidence that says that if you physically take time to put your shoulders back and make that power pose stance, it actually increases your confidence, and people read that body language as a sign of confidence from you. So check yourself, become aware of the things that you do and the body language that you regularly use. It's going to change depending on the environment and situation you're in. The other thing I want you to notice are the things that you do when you're around people. Like, do you stand too close to them? Do people back away or lean back or put their arms between you and them to try and create a sense of space? That may be a sign that you stand too close when talking to them. Where you stand and how close you stand is very cultural, so be aware of the environment that you are in. What about speaking too loud? If you were to observe, like a third party, looking around the room, would you notice that your volume is much higher, much louder than other people's volumes? Do people potentially wince or lean away from you when you talk? That may be a sign that you need to lower your volume. The opposite could be true. If you are regularly being asked to speak up, or if people say that you mutter or they're having trouble hearing you, you may need to increase your volume when you're talking to other people. What about eye contact? Most of us are familiar that staring is very uncomfortable, but what about making direct eye contact? Again, this is cultural and environmental. You need to notice what's appropriate for the environment that you're in. Sometimes making direct eye contact is the right way to go. Other times, you show deference and respect by lowering your eye contact. What position are your shoulders in? Have you pushed them back? Are you showing confidence? Are you maybe leaning forward and hunched, which is timid, less secure? Or are your shoulders way up towards your ears? And let me move on to the trickier one. What about hygiene? Have you smelled yourself? I'm not kidding. You actually need to pay very close attention to how you smell, particularly inside of a closed office environment. Are you washing yourself and your belongings regularly? Are you putting on too much cologne for the space that you're in? Again, this is environmental. If you work construction and you're out in the sun all day, everybody around you is likely to be hot and sweaty, and that is much more acceptable than if you're the person in a small office environment who goes to exercise and doesn't shower after. If you need your car for work, if that's part of your job, or maybe you're just carrying people to lunch in your car, is your car tidy? Is your desk tidy? Have you taken the right steps to make sure that you and your surroundings are tidy enough to make other people comfortable? We'll move on from that for a moment. Let's talk about paying attention to others. The body language we present these days has been heavily impacted by our reliance on phones. We're constantly looking down and doing things on our phones while we're listening to other people. And it's possible that you can actually do both at once, but it's important for you to understand how you make the other person feel. If somebody is talking to you and you are focused on your phone, it makes them feel like you're not paying attention. If you're in a conversation, you want to be actively listening and respectful, then put the phone down. Or if you absolutely have to pick up the phone because you're looking for something, mention that. Say, hey, I'm just going to quickly look for that name and number of the person that we were just talking about so I can shoot it to you, and then do that and put the phone back down and resume eye contact, nodding, and active listening behaviors that show that you're curious and interested in the conversation. Build your self awareness. Just take note of what your behaviors are and how they change based on the situation. Take notice of not only your physical behaviors, but internally, how do you feel? And what's some of the feedback that you're hearing? You can make an action plan to work on just one of these. You may have a list of 4 or 5 behaviors that you want to modify, but pick one. Pick one, work on it, and as you notice, give yourself a pat on the back when that improves. Once you feel confident, move on to the next. When it comes to body language, hygiene, and personal habits, this can get really awkward for a leader. Some of the feedback that we need to share is sensitive. It's hard to talk to somebody about body odor or the high pitch of their voice being hard for other people to listen to, or how people are concerned because they stand too close and spit when they talk. Unfortunately, we do have to address that sometimes. And I think most everybody really wants to know how they come across. If I have spinach in my teeth at lunch, I really want those 2 seconds of discomfort where you'd quietly pull me aside and tell me that. I'd prefer those 2 seconds of discomfort over walking around all day like that. And I think if you can remember a time where you wish somebody would have told you something like that sooner, it will help put you in the right perspective about sharing this kind of uncomfortable information. You should also practice what you'll say. That will help lower your discomfort. You might say something like this. Hey, Tracy, thanks for meeting me today. Look, I want to share something that may be a little uncomfortable for us to talk about, but I want you to know I have your best interest at heart, and I'm hoping that we can walk away from this with neither one of us feeling embarrassed about it. Does that sound okay? And then you continue and say something like, I've noticed that when we meet as a team, you stand very close to the people that you're talking to. It seems to be making them uncomfortable. Could I suggest that you just take one step back when you're in a small group? Be patient and confident during these conversations. Reassure them that everybody has these habits and we're all here to learn and support each other. By showing that you genuinely care, you are creating a greater bond with that individual and fostering a sense of trust. Learn to lead yourself, learn to lead others. It's all about self awareness, accountability, and up leveling. Be a boss.